Welcome to Lifelong Echoes. Today, we meet Michelle Obama, a girl from Chicago's South Side, a girl who loves school, a girl who was told she wasn't good enough. But she didn't listen. She became a lawyer, a mother, a first lady, and along the way, she taught millions of people something powerful. When the world tries to bring you down, you rise higher. This is her story. Michelle LaVaughn Robinson was born on January 17, 1964. She lived in a tiny apartment in Chicago. Not the fancy part of Chicago, the South Side, a working-class neighborhood. Her father, Fraser, worked at the city's water plant. His body was failing him. Multiple sclerosis was slowly stealing his strength. But every morning he woke up. He went to work. He never complained. Her mother, Marion, stayed home. She made sure Michelle and her brother Craig did their homework. She taught them to speak up. She taught them to work hard. She taught them that being Black in America meant you had to be twice as good to get half as far. But never, ever give up. The apartment was small. So small that Michelle and Craig's bedroom was divided by a sheet. They could hear each other breathing at night. But that apartment was filled with something bigger than space. Love. Discipline. High expectations. Michelle watched her father struggle with his illness. Watched him wake up in pain. Watched him put on his work clothes anyway. Your father never missed a day of work, Marion would say later. That lesson sank deep into Michelle's heart. If something matters, you show up. No excuses. Michelle loved school. She raised her hand in every class. She read ahead in her textbooks. She finished her homework early. Her teachers noticed. Michelle is special, they said. But not everyone was encouraging. In second grade, a teacher told Michelle she wasn't smart enough for advanced classes. Michelle went home crying. Her mother marched into that school. My daughter is brilliant, Marion said firmly. Test her if you don't believe me. They tested Michelle. She scored high. Very high. That teacher was wrong. Michelle learned an important lesson that day. Sometimes people will doubt you. Sometimes they'll tell you no. But you know your truth. Don't let anyone write your story. Michelle got into a special program for gifted students. She worked hard. She studied late. She became the best student in many of her classes. But being excellent wasn't easy. You talk like a white girl, some kids said. They made fun of her for studying, for raising her hand, for getting good grades. It hurt. But Michelle kept going. Her brother Craig was her hero. He was 2 years older. A basketball star. Everyone loved Craig. Michelle wanted to be just like him. Good at everything. Liked by everyone. But also true to herself. Michelle applied to Princeton University, one of the best schools in America. Her school counselor said no. Princeton is too hard for you, the counselor said. You should aim lower. Michelle felt her heart sink. Was the counselor right? She went home and told her family. Craig laughed. Michelle, I go to Princeton, he said. If I can do it, you definitely can. Her mother agreed. Apply anyway, Marion said. So Michelle did. And Princeton said yes. In 1981, Michelle arrived at Princeton. She was 17 years old. and she felt out of place. The campus was beautiful. Historic buildings, perfectly manicured lawns, students who came from wealth, students who had been to private schools, students who had traveled the world. Michelle had never been on an airplane. She felt like she didn't belong. She was one of very few Black students. In classes, professors rarely called on her. In social settings, she felt invisible. I was often the only Black student in my classes, she said later. I felt like I had something to prove. So she worked harder. Late nights in the library. Early mornings reviewing notes. She graduated with honors. Then she went to Harvard Law School. Again, she was one of few. Again, she felt the pressure. Again, she succeeded. Michelle got a job at a big law firm in Chicago. She was making good money. More money than her parents had ever seen. She could help them. Buy them things. She should have been happy. But something felt empty. Corporate law paid well. But it didn't feed her soul. Is this it? She wondered. Is this all there is? Then one summer, a young law student came to work at her firm. His name was Barack Obama. Michelle was assigned to be his mentor. She wasn't impressed at first. Just another smooth-talking guy, she thought. But Barack was different. He talked about helping communities, about making change, about serving others. He made Michelle remember why she went to law school. Not for money, for justice. They started dating. Michelle's mother wasn't sure. He's nice, Marion said. But what are his plans? Michelle wasn't sure either. Barack had big dreams. But no money. No clear path. Could she build a life with someone like that? They got engaged. Then married in 1992. Michelle was 28 years old. Michelle left the law firm. She took a pay cut. A big one. She went to work for the city of Chicago, helping young people, connecting them to opportunities. The work was hard. The pay was low. But Michelle felt alive. This is what I'm supposed to do, she realized. She later worked at the University of Chicago, building community programs. Then at a hospital, creating programs to serve the neighborhood, the South Side she grew up in. Meanwhile, Barack entered politics. First state senate. Then he ran for U.S. Senate. Michelle wasn't excited. Politics meant time away from family. They had 2 daughters now, Malia and Sasha. Michelle wanted Barack home. Wanted him at dinner. At school events. At bedtime stories. But Barack had that dream. That calling to serve. Michelle struggled. I was angry sometimes, she admitted later. Why does he get to chase his dreams while I hold everything together? It was hard. Marriage is hard. Balancing career and family is hard. But they worked through it. Talked honestly. Made compromises. Supported each other. In 2008, Barack ran for president. The campaign was brutal. People said terrible things about Michelle. Called her angry. Called her unpatriotic. Twisted her words. Attacked her appearance. Michelle had never experienced hatred like this. It hurt. But she remembered her father. Getting up every day despite the pain. She remembered her mother's strength. She found her own voice. At the Democratic convention, Michelle gave a speech. Her voice was strong. Her message was clear. She talked about American values, about hope, about the future. The crowd stood and cheered. Michelle had found her power. Barack won the election. Michelle became First Lady. The first Black First Lady in American history. It was overwhelming. The scrutiny was intense. Everything she wore was criticized. Every word she said was analyzed. Every move she made was judged. But Michelle decided something important. She would use this platform for good. For the kids who felt like she once felt. For the kids who were told they weren't good enough. As First Lady, Michelle started programs. Let's Move fought childhood obesity. She planted a garden at the White House. Taught kids about healthy eating. She danced. She did push-ups. She made fitness fun. Reach Higher encouraged students to go to college. Michelle visited schools. Talked to teenagers. Told them her story. I was you, she said. I doubted myself too. But you belong in college. You belong anywhere you want to be. She hugged students. Listened to their fears. Celebrated their dreams. Michelle also supported military families. Visited wounded soldiers. Helped military spouses find jobs. She saw people. Really saw them. And they felt seen by her. But the attacks continued. People said cruel things. Made racist comments. Called her names. Michelle wanted to fight back. Wanted to respond to every lie. Every insult. But she chose a different path. At the 2016 Democratic Convention, Michelle gave another speech. This one became legendary. When they go low, she said, we go high. The crowd erupted. Those 6 words became a mantra. A way to respond to hate. With dignity. With grace. With strength. Michelle and Barack left the White House in 2017. After 8 years of service. 8 years of scrutiny. 8 years of giving everything. Michelle was exhausted. But not finished. She wrote a book. Becoming. It told her story. Honestly. Vulnerably. The doubts. The struggles. The marriage challenges. The fear. The growth. The book became the best-selling memoir of all time. Over 15 million copies sold. Michelle toured the world. Filled arenas with people. Not to see a celebrity, but to see someone real. Someone who understood struggle. Someone who proved you could rise. She talked to young girls. Your story matters, she told them. Your voice matters. You matter. She worked on education initiatives. Helped girls around the world go to school. Girls in countries where education for females was rare. Girls who reminded her of young Michelle. Smart. Capable. But told they weren't enough. Michelle knew better. Those girls were more than enough. They were the future. Michelle Obama's journey isn't finished. She's still becoming. Still growing. Still learning. And that's her message. You're never done becoming who you're meant to be. From a small apartment in Chicago. To the White House. To arenas filled with people who see themselves in her. Michelle proved something powerful. Your beginning doesn't determine your ending. Your doubters don't define you. Your challenges don't defeat you. They shape you, strengthen you, prepare you for what's next. Michelle once said, There is no magic to achievement. It's really about hard work, choices, and persistence. She lived those words every single day. When people told her no, she found another way. When people doubted her, she proved them wrong. When people went low, she went high. And in doing so, she lifted millions of others with her. Thank you for joining us on this journey. Remember Michelle's words. Your story matters. Your voice matters. You matter. Keep becoming. Keep rising. Keep going high. Subscribe to Lifelong Echoes for more stories that inspire while you learn English.